Bum ba da ba ba bum ba da ba da ba da. Does we need a little Christmas right this very minute? Need a little Christmas now. God, my necklaces are all bunched up and crazy. Hello, everybody. Woofda. Welcome to Monday Mini Medicine Card Readings. I am Patrick, your friendly neighborhood shaman for the evening. And I am, as usual, running a little behind. I'm just getting set up. I just got home a couple of minutes ago. I was doing readings at Crescent Moon Gifts down in Tacoma. Had a really, hey there, Sage, good to see you. It was good to see you today. So I've been doing readings all day long. Didn't know if I had it in me to do more, but here I am, and I always look so forward to this. And I appreciate everyone who comes and listens to me and watches me. Long time no see. And tonight, we're gonna do something a little bit different. And it's kind of stretching my boundaries a little bit. But, let me get myself together here for a moment. So tonight, rather than, okay, how do I put it? Tonight, instead of the medicine cards, I am going to be using a few cards from this different animal spirit deck with beautifully illustrated by Susan Seddon-Boulay, who is one of my very favorite artists of all time. And the reason we're doing that is because I am about to let my geek flag fly, but today is the 133rd birthday of Tarzan. According to the book, the Tarzan books, Tarzan was born on midnight of November 22nd, 1888. And so I thought we would honor Tarzan tonight and use a different deck with I pulled out a few cards of Tarzan's favorite, his biggest animal friends. And so I pulled out 3 cards, and I'm still gonna kind of randomly select them. So it's still same routine, choose 3 cards, and then I will do a reading like each one, and whichever number you chose is the animal that has chosen to walk with you this week. And because the medicine card deck deals with only North American animals, being based mostly on Native American spirit connections and such, I had to go to a different deck to get jungle animals, get some African animals. And so I'm not going to tell you which ones they are to keep that element of surprise, but I've chose 3 animals that are Tarzan's main friends. And yeah, so Tarzan was my biggest hero when I was a kid. And I've read all the Tarzan books. I have seen most, if not all, of the Tarzan movies. I have been a big Tarzan geek. And it's actually, in hindsight, it is actually partially Tarzan that helped make me become a shaman, or kept that hint of wildness, the wild, untamed, the thin veneer of civilization, shedding the thin veneer of civilization to get in touch with that wild, primitive beat of the jungle, of the heart. And so we're going to do a few different cards from a different deck to honor Tarzan's birthday today. If he were real, he would be 133 today. And there is actually a book entitled Tarzan Alive by Philip Jose Farmer, who actually did a biography of him. And there's a wee part of me, little child, little geeky boy, who thinks that book was true and hopes that Tarzan was real. But, so anyway, so if you're coming in late, today is Tarzan's birthday. He would have been 133 if he were real, if he is real. And so we're going to do a different selection of animals rather than the medicine card deck I usually use. These are pulled from Animal Spirit Knowledge cards. So we're going to do slightly different. And this it's kind of pushing my boundaries a little bit because these are animal. I'm so used to the medicine card deck and the North American animals, but some of the other more exotic animals I haven't worked with as much. I'm not as familiar with them, so this is going to be me kind of reaching to connect with their spirits to bring through whatever their messages are. So, again, just like normal, I'm going to pick 3 cards. You choose a number 1 to 3. And whichever card corresponds to the number you chose, that is your guidance for the week. So, and then if you're coming in late or you missed this, I am going to post this on my Facebook page and my YouTube channel. And I've got jungle sounds if you can hear them. A lot of times I'll do like little bird sounds in the background while I'm doing the readings, but tonight I chose jungle sounds specifically for Tarzan. And, it's like Tarzan who inspired me to pursue communicating with animals, right? And all of that. So he has been a big part of who I've become. And I actually I've got a celluloid from a Tarzan cartoon on my wall above I've got an altar for my cartooning, an altar dedicated to the comics I draw, and I've got a celluloid from a Tarzan cartoon above my altar. So that's how important he is to me. So, okay, I think I went through that enough. I'm a little, I did have a busy day today, so I'm a little wacky, and so I might repeat myself, but let's do this thing. So if you're new here, again, we are pulling 3 cards. Choose a number between 1 and 3, or you can choose a couple numbers or all 3 numbers. And we'll see which animal comes to help you. All right. All right, so here we go. Number 1. If 1 is your card, you got the lion. Lion, of course, is the king of the jungle. Lion is, in some tarot decks, the strength card, the strength card has got the woman cradling the lion's head, or different variations of that, and it's about that untamed wild, like the strength of having. I'm not a tarot expert by any means, which is why I do animal cards, but it's really that gentleness, that strength, and that ability to, I don't want to say control, but that ability to be gentle on the outside because of the strength within. And lion, where I was actually going to go with that is, I know in some decks, and I had a class where we were learning, I believe it was called the Thoth Tarot deck. It was done by Aleister Crowley, and I personally didn't really like that deck. But others find it amazing. But anyway, so the strength card on that was actually lust. And the way those connect, it was still a lion, and it was gold, but it was the lion, the golden lion, that gold, that fire. It's about the lust for life, about pursuing, being the hunter, hunting, going for those things that, those things. It's like lust, not lust as in a sexual manner or anything like that, but lust as in luster, the luster of gold, that shiny, like going toward the shiny things, going toward the fiery things that light you up, and having that strength and that conviction to know that you deserve that there's no one to oppose you. A lion is the king of the jungle. He's the apex predator. No one questions him. He doesn't have to ask permission. He doesn't have to justify himself. He is the king. He is. And the funny thing is, when we think of lion, we think the male and the king, right? But the male lion doesn't really do much. It's the female. They're matriarchal, and it's the lioness that does all the hunting and taking care of the family and all of that. And my guides are mentioning with the fire, with the light, like I just said, the lioness, the goddess. Lion is a very sun-oriented animal, from his golden color, like the golden sun, to the mane, like radiating light, right? And that brings me to Sekhmet. If you know who Sekhmet is an Egyptian goddess. She's the Egyptian lion-headed goddess. And she is the goddess of right action. The stories that go with her. She is the daughter of Ra, the sun god, right? So she's fiery, she's sunny, she's got that fire. And Ra was angry at humans for some reason. I don't remember all the details, but he sent Sekhmet to set things right. And that fire that he gave her just kind of got carried away. She got caught into anger and became this force of destruction. And she almost destroyed the human race. And to calm her, the humans poured tons and tons and tons of beer into the Nile River so that when she drank, she became drunk and passed out. And when she awoke, sobered up and looked at what she had done, she was ashamed. And thus she became the goddess of right action. Like, she saw what had happened and she was able to shift that energy from destruction to creation, to be there to show how to utilize anger in a constructive way. So and this kind of relates to some of the things going on in my life right now. It's like you have that fiery, like, "Arr, what's going on? And why are these people doing this?" And especially personal boundaries and stuff. And the way we're taught to deal with our anger is to hold it down, right? And all that does keeps that fire in here, and it burns us up from the inside. That anger eats away at us from the inside, creates disease and all kinds of stuff. And so we don't learn how to use anger in a constructive manner. It's either we keep it inside and we burn up from the inside, we start ourselves on fire, we burn ourselves up, or we go on a rampage, a raging rampage, and destroy everything around us. Either way, we see anger as destructive. But anger is a transitional emotion. Anger is not like other, like sadness or joy or other emotions that are more stable. Anger is a transitional emotion. It's constantly moving. It's an in-between. It's a step up. Like, it's the fire to help you move up a step. It's fuel. It's meant to be like rocket fuel. And so the fire is the fuel to drive you forward to make change. It's not meant to blast anybody, including yourself. You're not supposed to burn up. It's supposed to propel you like a rocket to make change. And I have worked with Sekhmet, and what she told me was, especially when we've got this anger built up inside of us, one thing we need to do is open our crown chakra, create a vent so that the flame has somewhere to go. Otherwise, it's building up and building up, more and more pressure until you explode. And so that pressure, that flame needs a vent. It needs a release. And so by opening our crown, connecting to spirit, to creator, we become, like in shamanism, we talk about being the hollow bone, and become that hollow bone for it to move through. And then we become the rocket ship, and the fire of anger propels us forward, gets us out of our depression and moves us toward finding what we want. I hope that all makes sense. Like I said, I'm a little bit out of my comfort zone. These aren't the normal cards that I work with. And on what the card itself says is, the lion has been a powerful symbol of strength and courage in cultures around the globe. Because of its mane and light color, it has also been associated with the sun, a symbol of heroism and the source of life and energy. That's what I just said. Validation. In Buddhism, the lion symbolizes courage, nobility, and good luck. In medieval times, the image of a lion was a symbol of healing, and it could cure any disease as well as protect a traveler from harm. Um, yeah, so lion is the vibrancy of life itself, the chi, the fire that lights you up, and that nobility. Being in your power, beyond just what I said earlier about not needing to ask permission or justify yourself, there's a nobility. It's the way the lion carries himself. And it's like, if that's your card, it's time to step into that power, to know that you are noble, that you are majestic, and that there is no one more powerful than you. There is no one better than you. You are the king of your domain. You are the creator, that light force that moves through you to create your world around you. And a lot of times, I've been actually working with Jaguar medicine a lot recently. And one thing that Jaguar told me that fits with lion as well is, like, we sit here and we're talking about lion, we keep focusing on the fierceness and the strength and all of this stuff. And we kind of forget that lion, like all cats, sleeps 20 some hours a day. They're not fierce all the time. I mean, they kind of are, even when they're sleeping, but that fierceness creates the container within which they can still be the roly-poly, soft, cuddly kitten. And that is who they are the majority of the time. I mean, and they're not, I remember hearing about, someone actually did I don't know if it was a science project or just a goofy film thing, but there was a whole series of cats in their solid form and their liquid form. And that goes for lions too. But they're more liquid than they are solid, like all cats. They lay around, they sleep, they yawn, it's only a couple hours of their day that they hunt and are fierce, and the teeth and the claws and everything else. All the other times, the majority of their time is spent sleeping and napping and dreaming and cuddling and all of that. And so know that there is, how do I want to say this? You are noble. You are majestic, no matter what you're doing. And it's a claiming of that nobility, that poise. Even if you're clumsy, even if you're accident prone, like, you can still do all those things with a sense of grace, with a sense of nobility, and know that you are divine. I mean, lion is kind of, okay. Lion, they just connected me with moose medicine. Moose comes up pretty regularly on these Monday medicine card readings, and moose is about majestic dorkiness. And I have noticed on my own, like working with moose medicine, that Moose medicine is very similar to lion medicine. That there's that feeling of nobility, that majesticness, that is this, it's just this unquestioned presence. There's nothing to explain. There's nothing to justify. It just is, you know. And then Moose comes in bringing that dorkiness as well. So give yourself a break. Give yourself the benefit of the doubt. You know, if you trip, if you do something goofy, if you do something that is uncoordinated or whatever, you know, when you get done, just flourish, or, you know, ta-da, do it like you meant to do it, with flair. Lion is connected to the sun. Flare, light, flamboyant. Be flamboyant. Don't be afraid to chase the luster of life, the things that shine, that fill you up. Because there is no one who can hold you back. There is no one who can get in your way. All right? So that's number one. Number two, and so with the Tarzan theme of tonight, for anyone coming in late, again, showing my geeky nature, the ape language name for lion is Numa. So number one is Numa the lion. And also Tarzan had a lion that he raised from a cub whose name was Jadbolja, and it means the golden lion, in a whole nother language that I won't go into. But so Jadbolja was one of his main companions. So that is lion, Numa the lion, number one. Number two, if two was your card, you got Manu the monkey. Manu is ape language for monkey. And one of Tarzan's main friends was a monkey named Nakima. It wasn't cheetah and it wasn't a chimp. It was a monkey. He had a monkey that would ride on his shoulder, and the monkey's name was Nakima. So if number two is your number, you got monkey. Monkey is I'm not even sure how to put it into words. Monkey is definitely a trickster. But similar to coyote medicine, they're so intelligent, they can get in their own way. They can trip themselves up and be tricked. They can fall like the monkey traps. I don't know where exactly it is, but they learned that if they dig a little hole into like a termite mound, like a little hole with a bigger opening on the other side, and then put some seeds into there, if the monkeys see that, like they do it with the monkeys watching, and then the monkey will come, reach into the hole to see what's there and take the handful of seeds. But once the monkey makes a fist, his hand is too big to pull back through the hole, but he doesn't think about dropping the seeds, and so they're able to catch the monkey because he basically trapped himself by holding on and not letting go. So there is that, it can be kind of a getting caught in your own trap, or being, outthinking yourself. But with that said, Monkey is also like that intelligence, and there's, we think of sometimes monkeys seem kind of timid, but they're actually pretty courageous. They see what they want and they go for it, and they can swing through they can utilize their environment in ways that we can't in order to get there. They can climb things, they can jump, they can swing, they can do whatever they need to do to get to their objective, and very little can stand in their way. So it's almost like Bruce Lee talks about, be like water. It's like they're kind of like water. They can flow and roll and tumble to get where they need to go. So there's a sense of flexibility, agility. They utilize whatever's in front of them, and they can climb it, jump over it, jump from it, whatever they need to do. And there's like a determination to them. If there's something they want, thank you. And one of the driving forces of monkey is curiosity. That's part of how that monkey trap works. They're curious, so they go to investigate and reach their hand into the hole, and then they get trapped because they pick up the seeds and they can't get their hand back out. So there's this curiosity, and so that brings in this sense of exploration, of adventure, and so it's this combination of intelligence and wildness. They have the intelligence, and can be taught so many different things. Super, super intelligent, and yet they're wild. So it's almost like the mind of the jungle. They're the ones that they bring that thinking, that intelligence, seeing the pattern, seeing how things work, so they can manipulate things to get what they want. But holding on to that wildness, that connection. It's kind of like probably similar to where the human race was just before we took that evolutionary leap mentally, where we stepped back from creation, where we stepped back just mentally and could perceive a space between us, a separation between us and nature. Monkey still is on that side of that gap, where they're intelligent, but they still know themselves as part of nature. We are still just as much a part of nature as they are. We just don't realize it. We have this gap, kind of this chasm of separation that we believe in, and we have trouble because we're so mental that we have a hard time moving into our hearts and feeling that connection. But monkey is still walking that line between intelligence and wildness. And there's an impness, if that's a word. And like Stephanie on the comments mentioned the lion, or the Monkey King, Lion King. Yeah, we already dealt with the Lion King. Now we're going to the Monkey King. The Monkey King. They're in China, one of the oldest, if not the oldest story in Chinese literature is the Monkey King, Journey to the West. And it's about this monkey who was divinely created, like he was born from a rock, and became the king of the monkeys. And he was, through a bunch of misadventures and different things, he became a god. And he he was such a disruptive force in the heavens that the Buddha decided to punish him and buried him under a mountain. But the key to this is it's not really a rebelling against the status quo, but it's not buying into, how do I put this? It's bringing that, like I said, monkey brings intelligence into the wild, and like the Monkey King basically brought the wild into the intelligent world. He brought wildness to the prim and proper Chinese gods and goddesses and disrupt everything and trick them, having fun, doing what monkeys do, is that's having fun, finding the joy in everything. And so by being himself, he disrupted heaven itself. And the gods who need, they had all their rules and dogmas and expectations and the ways of a proper god. And so they had the Buddha punish Monkey King by burying him under a mountain. And then he had to, the journey to the West, he had to take the Buddhist texts from China, and he was on a pilgrimage with a couple of companions, Pigsy, who was a pig, a farmer, and then this other monk, I can't remember his name, who took everything literal, who was very serious and didn't know how to laugh. And so this group had to take, it was their task to take the Buddhist texts from China to India. But anyway, and so there's all these misadventures of the Monkey King and how he outwits people and outwits beings and outwits the gods. And it's about that, almost the sovereignty, the Monkey King being sovereign unto himself and not accepting the judgments of others. He never once thought that he was wrong. He never once thought he was any less because of what he did. It was the God's judgment against him. Even buried under the mountain, he still had that fire and almost a stubbornness, like a tenacious spirit of, he knew he was going to get out somehow. He knew he'd get out, and it didn't change who he was at all. He didn't repent. He didn't apologize. He was who he was. And so don't be afraid. And I mean, you don't have to go and throw things around and be vulgar and all that kind of thing. But don't be afraid to be disruptive. Like all the protests we've had in the last couple of years and the different things like that, the purpose of those things is to disrupt the status quo. Just like that, the gods had their ways of doing things, their dogmas, their rules, and they needed to be disrupted in order to see the bigger picture, to see what was actually happening. So don't be afraid to be disruptive. Not out of maliciousness or, I've known a few like self-appointed tricksters who thought it was their job to call people out on their crap, or to keep, like, to find people's buttons and to keep pushing it. Like, are you mad yet? Are you mad yet? Are you mad yet? And that is not what I'm talking about. We'll talk about that some other time. That's a whole different. That is not what trickster medicine is about. The trickster medicine is about being yourself And because of your unique position in life, your unique take on life, perspective of life, you automatically change those around you. You introduce new ways of looking at things, new ways of doing things. In a way, it's kind of like the Zen mind, beginner's mind, where we're the experts. We know exactly what to do in a crisis, and this happened, so we have to do A, B, and C to get to D, blah, blah, blah. And along comes Monkey going, well, why don't you just do this? And sees through all the crap, all the heavy ego, arrogance, and the accepted ways of doing things, and it's like, well, why don't you just do this? Boom, problem solved. So that's Monkey, and I love the Monkey King. I love the Monkey King. So since these cards do have things written on the back, let me read what's on the back of Monkey. The monkey is an ancient deity worshipped in Middle Eastern peoples. In the Hindu Rama, I can't remember how you pronounce that. The Ramayana, a monkey hero named Hanuman helps rescue Sita, the god Vishnu's queen, who had been abducted by a demon. Hanuman was made invincible by Brahma, the grandfather and creator, and possesses the skill and agility to leap across the heavens. He leads a monkey army against the demon and rescues Sita, for which he is granted everlasting life. And I am not a scholar, but I do know there are connections between Hanuman, the monkey god of Hinduism, and the Monkey King from China. And so it's like bringing in this unique perspective, this craftiness, this courage and agility, not just physically but mentally, being able to see things different, connect things differently than from other people. So that is number 2. If 2 is your card, you got Manu the monkey. Number 3 on this special mini reading honoring the birthday of Tarzan. Number 3, if 3 was your card, you got the elephant. Tantor the elephant. Elephant is so many things. Where do I start? Again, bringing in the Hindu beliefs. There's the god Ganesha, who is the remover of obstacles. For, obvious reasons, the elephant, nothing can stand in the way of the elephant. Elephant can move things out of the way, can create passageways where there were none, can, not only that, but with the trunk, moving lumber and all kinds of stuff. So elephant is the remover of obstacles, a creator of a way through things. And a big part of elephant, so there's the strength. The strength and the groundedness. I mean, this mountain of an animal, unmovable, which actually reminds me of a dream I had when I was a kid. Actually, I had this dream where I was walking through the downtown of my hometown in Minnesota, and I had this elephant with me, and I was trying to get the elephant to go specific ways. I'm trying to push the elephant. I'm trying to pull the elephant in certain directions, and it was impossible. And I was getting exhausted and frustrated because I couldn't get the elephant to move in the way I wanted it to. And then all of a sudden in my dream, the elephant lifted me up on its back, and by sitting on the back of the elephant and nudging it behind the ears, I was able to make the elephant move where I wanted it to. Like, number one, not a power over, like trying to push or force something to do something, but as a co-creative, symbiotic, like, okay, they're going to go this way. And so it was like riding that power rather than trying to force the power. And letting that power carry me rather than trying to manipulate it and push it. So that is part of elephants. You know, you can't push an elephant where you want it to go. But like Tarzan riding on the back of the elephant, it's kind of a similar relationship as riding a horse, right? And so there's that connection again of wild and humans. I actually have, I don't work with her too much anymore, but I used to have an elephant power animal, and her main thing, she would pop up when I was ungrounded, when I was flying off in so many directions, and she would just show up in my head, and she would stomp her 2 front feet, and it'd be like, ground. You need to ground. And, okay, thank you. Bringing up the feet, you know, and that groundedness, they really are connected to the earth. The pads of their feet are really sensitive. So much that they actually communicate over long distances by sending these low rumbling vibrations through the ground from their trunks, and then the receiving parties can feel it in their feet. And so there's this aspect of elephant, this long distance communication, vibration, you know, receiving vibration, sending vibration. My nose itches, and I've always been told that means the spirits are here, that I'm hitting something on the nose. It's not a trunk exactly, but yeah, so there's a strength, there's a movability, and yet there's a sensitivity to sound, to vibration. As well as one of the biggest aspects, at least for me, with elephant is, you know, they talk about the memory, like elephants never forget. And what it brings up for me is not just remembering things from like a couple of days ago or a year ago or whatever, but it's the remembrance of ancestors. You know, elephants, there are so many videos of elephants grieving after another one has died and like cradling the bones of this fallen sister or brother and actually crying. And it's like they have this connection to their ancestors, connection to the dead. And so sometimes if I'm doing ancestral work, I'll go to elephant and ask for the remembrance, that, because one thing and also is that elephant is matrilineal, matriarchal. And so it's the unbroken line through the mother line. You know, in the patriarchy, everyone takes the man's name and it's like we follow the man's line back, but it's a broken line because it's not, how do I put it? Your mother line is unbroken because you follow your mother to your mother to your mother. But your father line, it's like your father and then your father's mother, and then it's like, it's more of a jagged, broken line. It's not smooth. There's not as much flow to it. And so elephant brings in that matrilineal connection to your ancestors, remembering the ways of your ancestors. And that flow of emotions, that sensitivity to be able to feel emotions, to express emotions. Again, that communication is like that expression of your emotions that the elephant has. So if that's your card, number 3, being tent toward the elephant, know that the path is being cleared for you, that you, how do I put this? If you choose to be, if you can connect with your strength, with your spirit, you are immovable. Yeah. So there's that dichotomy again of, you know, the last thing you want is a rampaging elephant coming at you, right? And at the same time, so there's that strength, that fierceness, that presence. And at the same time, there's that hardness, there's that softness, a sense of sensitivity, of love, of caring, of nurturing, of remembering their past loved ones. So, don't be afraid to stand fast. And at the same time, don't be afraid to break down walls. If where you're going, there's obstacles in the way, call in elephant, call in Ganesha. I work with Ganesha a lot. And ask for the path to be cleared, and the path will be cleared before you. So, anything else? Let's see what the card actually says on the back. Strength, prosperity, fertility, wisdom. And the elephant is rich in lore and legend, with the white elephant being the most sacred. Kind of like the white buffalo, prosperity, fertility. Elephants are venerated in India and Southeast Asia, where they are a symbol of royalty and fertility. Ganesha, the Hindu god of wisdom, prudence, and learning, is usually depicted having the body of a man and the head of an elephant. So there's wisdom, there is hardness and softness, there is the conviction, the steadfast conviction, as well as the sensitivity, openness to learning. You know, you can't become wise if you're not learning new things, right? Does that make sense? So there's a steadfastness and an openness at the same time. And we're just about out of time. That was our Tarzan tribute, being his 133rd birthday today, having been born at midnight on November 22nd, 1888, according to Edgar Rice Burroughs. And so we did a special card pull with the jungle animals, some of his jungle friends. And so hopefully that was helpful. Hopefully, reach out to these guys, whichever one chose you by the number you picked. Call on them this week to give you their strength, their agility, their abundance, whatever it is that you need. They are here to help. And I hope you enjoyed that. I know it's a little bit different from normal, and I'm also a little wiggy up in the brain pan because I'm tired. I had a busy day of readings already before I did this one, and so my mental faculties aren't as agile as the monkey. So I hope you enjoyed that. I hope that was helpful and meaningful to you. Know that I am available for personal readings, not using this deck, but the medicine card deck, the animals of North America with the Native American flavor to them. And so if you enjoyed what I said, if that didn't prove too weird, or if I wasn't too incoherent to explain things, and you feel like you want a reading, you want wisdom from the animals, seek me out for a reading. You can check me out on my website, perchingwolfstudios.net. You can connect to me there for readings and for shamanic healings. Check out the different shamanic services I offer. See if anything resonates with you. And like I said earlier, I will share this to my Facebook page, and I'll also upload it to my Perching Wolf Studios YouTube channel. So subscribe to my YouTube channel. I've got over a year's worth of these Monday mini medicine card readings and sacred pipe ceremonies. And in fact, coming up Wednesday night, I've gone back to doing a weekly sacred pipe ceremony. So, in the middle of the week, I hold space. I do a sacred pipe ceremony on Facebook Live to hold space for you, to give you the moment to just breathe, to take the world off your shoulders, to connect with spirit. And it is the most sacred space I know of. And I love to be able to share that with people. So join me Wednesday night if that calls to you. 7 o'clock right here on my Facebook page. And it is so powerful. It always amazes me how powerful it is. Especially when people show up. And anyway, so I'm rambling now because I'm tired and I need to eat something. But thank you so much for joining me. Thank you for being here. I hope that was meaningful. Feel free to share this video far and wide. I will be back again next Monday. So come, bring your friends, invite your friends. We'll go back to the normal medicine cards next week. I just had to honor Tarzan tonight because he is my childhood hero and still brings a certain meaning to my life. So thank you for your patience with my idiosyncrasies and my geekiness, and I hope to see you next time. So until then, know that I love you, I see you, and I honor you. So have a wonderful week. Walk with the animals and go shining. All right, my friends, I will see you soon. Bye-bye.